Mr. Sonnenberg here. Today we're going to be studying the unit Plants for Food and Fibre. This is for Science 7 students. It's going to be topic 1 in your textbook called People and Plants, but mainly today we're going to be talking about our plants for food. So we know that this unit is called Plants for Food and Fibre, and we'll get in the next screencast to understanding what plants for fiber is used for, but today we're going to talk about plants for food. Food being something that we use or we ingest or animals ingest to gain energy, and also we can get it through maybe herbivores that eat plants, then we eat those as secondary or tertiary consumers. We eat those particular animals and we gain energy from that. But one important note is that nearly 75% of all crops of the world's food supply is based on 7 main crops. Okay, and those crops are going to be wheat, rice, maize, potatoes, barley, cassava, and sorghum. And those crops are could be possibly processed to make other materials and foods that we eat, but they come from those 7 main, we process it, and then we can develop our food supply from there. So 75% of the world's food supply, which is quite a large number. So we take a look at this next slide, though. Plants for food. Well, how do we use plants? Is I just don't go and I don't just sit outside like a cow and graze on grass, right? I don't do that. Well, no, I've never done that. I'm not even going to say I have. But we don't go out and we don't eat plants, basically. But what we do is sometimes we can eat things like broccoli, or we can eat things indirectly that we don't even realize are coming from plants. So let's say cocoa, for example. I love chocolate, so just as a little side note, if anyone wants to buy me anything, I typically don't ever turn down chocolate. I have kind of a sweet tooth, but chocolate's made from the fruit of a cocoa tree, and so basically to get all these different types of chocolates, I need cocoa. Well, cocoa is a form of a plant, and so just a few other things. So we have cocoa beans are roasted, they're shelled and then crushed. Then the cocoa butter and the cocoa powder, then what happens is they actually separate them. And then that cocoa powder is then mixed with milk to make chocolate. And that's how chocolate works. So we take the fruit of the cocoa tree, we take the beans, we roast them, shell them, and crush them, mix it with butter and the cocoa powder, and then eventually mix it with milk, and we make chocolate. And then I just eat the chocolate, and I love the chocolate, and I enjoy the chocolate, and it's so good. Anyways, okay. So then the next plant for food we're going to talk about is canola. Now, I don't know if any of you like to cook. I love to cook, but I sometimes use canola oil. A lot of times I use olive oils. It's a little healthier, but 78% of vegetable oil production comes from canola. And actually, I love the view out my deck. And I wish it wasn't such a miserable day out there, and I wish it was later in the season, because what happens is when I look off my back deck, which is, maybe I'll just try to show you really quick. My deck is over there. It's kind of messy in the house, but don't worry about it. But if you look out that door, what you actually see is there's a canola field back there, and it's not in bloom yet, and it hasn't grown yet, because they're just working up and tilling the land right now. But I love sitting on the deck, and I'll have a coffee or breakfast in the summer, and there's this nice, beautiful, gold, yellow-looking canola field. But that's where a lot of our vegetable oil comes from. So what happens is they take the canola and they press, and the canola is pressed from the canola seeds, and it's used as salad. Like, we can use it as salad oil, we can use it in frying oil. But basically, we can take that canola as well, and we can make margarine, shortening, baked goods, potato chips, and French fries, which obviously aren't the best thing for our health. But a lot of this vegetable oil that we use comes from canola. Now, the next one's seaweed. And I remember I was working, I played on this baseball team. It was a recruited team. They had guys from all over Western Canada and some guys from South Carolina as well that came and played on this team. And I remember working with this guy in the summers. They placed us with jobs, and I remember working with this guy, and he was out from the Maritimes, and he'd always have seaweed, and he'd always say, "Oh, you have to have the seaweed." And at first, I never tried it, and then I did after, and it was pretty good. It was a little salty, but this guy just always, all he ever did was talk about how much he liked to eat seaweed and all that. So It wasn't bad, I have to say. It was really salty though. But basically, what seaweed does in using it as a plant for food is it contains iodine, and it can be used in soup broths or with sushi, and it gives it a little bit of flavor. But you can see some other products that like ice cream, chocolate milk, yogurt, whipped cream, pies, jellies, and even other types of candies. But seaweed products are often used to thicken food. So what it's going to do is nice, thick, rich sauce. Okay. And then the last one that we're going to talk about is sugar. And I'm sure we've all had sugar. There's so much sugar in the foods that we have, especially the processed foods. But basically, what happens is half of the world's sugar comes from sugar beets, and they're located in sugar beets in the roots. So what happens is we take these roots and they're shredded, they're heated under running water, or they're heated in running water, and then the concentrated clear liquid is going to crystallize, and then it produces sugar, and it's similar to sugar cane. And so, like I said, half the world's sugar comes from sugar beets. And but these are just four examples of how we can use plant for food. So I'd like you to maybe stop the screencast, pause it, and maybe write down some other things that you're aware of that maybe we use plants for food, jot them down, and just start thinking about different ways that you can use these plants for food. Because in the next screencast, we're going to talk about how we can use them for fiber. And if you don't understand that, I'll give you a little preview. As I have a little sweater here that was made from a form of a plant. So, anyways, hopefully this has helped. This is Plants for Food, guys. You have any questions, I'd say bring them to class, but I'm not there right now. But you can also hold on to those questions. You can email me, send me email on Google Apps or on Wolf Apps, and I'm here to help you. All right, thanks for tuning in. Bye.